Hey guys, welcome. Our time of test. In this mock, I'm going to test your skills on methods, encapsulation, and landmarks. So let's begin. Question number one: which of the following are true? And specifically, you have been asked to choose any two. Now, if you read this question carefully, this question basically revolves around how do I work with constructors and how do I call constructors if there are multiple constructors present in my class. So it is basically a kind of a question where overloading of constructor is done. So option number A says that whether this is a keyword which can be called from anywhere in the constructor, or this can be called from any instance method in the class, or can I call this dot variable name from any other instance method, or can I call this dot variable name from any of the static method, or you must include a default constructor in the code if the compiler doesn't include one, and a lot of other stuff. So before you go through all these options, let us revise quickly what are the rules for this. The rule says that this should be the first statement in the constructor. That means I cannot call this for from any other statement than the first statement in my constructor. Constructors cannot be called from other methods. So if at all I want to call this, then this can be called within the constructor itself. Static methods cannot refer to instance members. And compiler's constructor can never be called. If you do not provide your constructor, compiler has got its own constructor, but you cannot say explicitly that I want to call the compiler's constructor. So these are the rules that you need to remember to solve such kind of a questions. Now let me go back to the question. The question says that this cannot be called from anywhere in the constructor, which looks incorrect because I cannot call it from anywhere, it should be first line. This can be called from any instance method in the class, looks again incorrect because this can be applied within the constructor itself. This dot variable name can be called from any instance method in the class, which is correct. This dot variable name can be called from any static method, which is incorrect because static method cannot talk to the instance variables. You must include a default constructor in the code if the compiler does not include one. That's not true because compiler will always include one of the constructor. You can call the default constructor written by the compiler using this, which is wrong as per our revision couple of minutes back. And you can access a private constructor with the main method, that is incorrect because the main method will be creating an object, and if I want to call the object, then you will not be able to call that. But you need to remember one thing, that though this looks incorrect, this is correct statement if I assume that main method is present in the same class. Now, as there is no any specific instructions given to me that main method is present in another class, this particular option G is also correct. So answer to this is basically C and G. Question number 2. Which of the following can replace line 2 to make this code compile? Choose or that apply. Now, if you look at this code basically uses a method called as a sort. Now, if you remember, sort method is a method which is used from the one of the, you can say, utility class, which is called as a collections as a utility class. And the way we call that method is collections.sort, which is a static method. So this code basically requires a knowledge of how do I import a static method. So let's revise a bit about static method. How do I import a static method, and then we'll come back to the question again. So syntax says that if at all I want to import any static method, then the syntax should be import keyword as a static package name followed by class dot static name, a static method name, or you can say class followed by dot star. That means all the static methods I am going to import. Now remember, you cannot import a class, you have to import a method. That is the important thing that you need to remember. So based on that, if I try to discuss, then option A is importing a class rather than method, which is incorrect. Option B says collections dot star, which is correct. Option C that says that collections dot sort in bracket arguments, but arguments doesn't form any import statement, so C is wrong. D is also wrong because then I am going to call again the class is E looks correct because it resembles to B, but there is a difference between declaration of an import. So import should be first word followed by that there should be static. And similar to option C, option F is also incorrect because writing arguments like that doesn't make sense. So option to this question is answer B. Question number 3. Which code can be inserted to have the code to print 2? Now the class birdseed contains a number of bags boolean call, and there is one constructor birdseed, and there are two lines, line 1 and line 2. When I create this public static void main and I call or I create constructor or I create rather object of birdseed, it obviously goes to the default constructor, so it goes to this. But then it doesn't initializes anything called as a number bag is equal to 2 inside this constructor. So if this calls, then there is no any option where the number of bags is equal to 2 is present. So where the number of bags is actually processed is in this parameterized constructor. So int number of bags. So by some way I should able to call this parameterized constructor, and this number bag should be initialized to 2, so that this dot number dot bags or this dot number bags should be equal to 2. This should happen. So the way to do that is calling a this by putting up argument. So let's see the options now. Replace line 1 with birdseed. 2. This looks maybe correct, but I cannot call constructor directly by its name. So A is wrong. Similar to that, B is also wrong. C says that line 1, replace line 1 with new birdseed. Again, I will able to create something like this, but then this is a new object. This is not the existing object. So C is also wrong. Similar to that, D is also wrong. Option number E says that replace line number 1 with this 2. So this 2 will call this, which looks okay. Even this also looks correct, but then line number 2 is 1 to third line over, and the rule for this says that it can be only first line. So based on all these assumptions, answer E or option E is correct. Question number 4. What is output of following code? Now there is a class order which contains a static variable, string result, which is having a blank value, and you could see there is one curly braces block and there is one static block which is having another curly braces and so on. So before we proceed, let's understand what is the difference between this static block followed by that curly braces and this only block. So there are two blocks. Static blocks are the are basically blocks, and they are called when the program gets loaded. So whenever your class gets loaded, the static blocks are called, and they will be having static followed by that set of curly braces. So all the methods which will be having a static followed by that curly braces will be called the moment class gets loaded. And static instance blocks do not have a static keyword. They will have only curly braces, and they are called as static instance block, and they do get called when the objects are created. They do get called surprisingly even public static void main is even before constructor. This has been clearly actually discussed in the training session as well for this particular topic, so you can refer to that again if you do not recall that. Okay, now if that is the case, then this particular block is a static initialization block and or instance block, you can say, and this is a block which is called as this is a block which is called as a your normal static block. So this is static initialization block, this is static initialization block, and this block is a static block. So if I now say that I am loading the class, immediately what is going to happen is your result will be initialized to u. So that is the first thing that you are going to have, and I'm going to print order dot result, so it will print me obviously u as a first one. So one of the way to understand the concept better is just remove the outputs from where u is not there. So I'm now left with b, c, d, e, f. A and g is already gone. Then I'm again printing order dot result, and this order dot result now would print u again. So even this u is correct. Now c will be b. Like now the c is present in the option b, so b is wrong now. So I left with c, d, e, and only c and d, because second option will be u, u, u. So it will be c, d, and e. Then I create object new order. Now as I told you, when I create object, static instance block will be called, and I have two static instance block. One is this and one is this. So u will be appended by CR, and it will be again by CR. So it will be U, U, UCR and CR. So this way, basically the answer for this would be option number E. Question number 5. Which of the following methods are recommended as Java Beans naming conventions for accessor and mutators? Choose all that apply. Looks simple. Option A says that get can swim, which returns a boolean. Now to return a boolean you need to have is rather than get, so A is wrong. Option B is public boolean can swim return number of wings is wrong because it is not getter, setter or is. Option number C is returning number wings which is of type integer maybe. So this is number wings, n is capital here, but then num and number wings is not matching. So you have to make sure of one thing, that public int get num wings and return number wings should not match. So option number C looks incorrect. Option number D is public int num wings, which is returning number wings, and this number wings and number wings is wrong because again name is not matching. And here it is set can swim, which is matching with can swim, and can swim is equal to B. So option for this is only E. Okay, question number 6. Given the following method, which of the method call returns to? Choose all that apply. Now in the method you could see there is a method which is called as a how many, which returns int, and it returns me b2 dot length. So this is my b2, and b2 dot length should return 2. That means I should have two elements in this b2, so as to make sure that b2 dot length returns me true. If I call A directly by saying how many, this fails because it should have at least two arguments. Similar to that, B fails because it should have two arguments and there is only one argument. C will call the method correctly, but then I have got only two arguments. First argument will go to 1, that is true. Second argument go to this B2, and B2 dot length will return me 1. Then option D is saying that how many true, true, true. In this case, first true will pass to this boolean, and these two trues will pass to this boolean var argument. So this will return me b2 dot length as is equal to true. So option number D is correct. Option number E, how many is calling true, and along with that it passes array of single true. Again the length will return me 1, so that is incorrect. Option number F, how many true, and followed by that true comma true will pass me array over here, but the problem here is that there is no initialization of the array. These are just elements, so to pass anything over here I need to have at least array which is initialized, because of which this fails. So the proper way to call that in this way, something like this. So how many true new boolean 2 will be passed over here. So option to this will be D and G. Question number 7. What is result of the following code? Now this is typically a lambda expression which is a part of JSC 8. If you look at this method which is present in interface climb, it contains one method which is called as is to high, which takes into account two arguments. One is of type height and second is of type one is height which is of type int, and second is limit which is of type int as well. Instead of going to all these check methods and all these methods directly, if you go here and if you say that I'm calling a check method which is connected to, let's say, your lambda and or functional interface, which is I'm calling by h comma l, and I'm passing two arguments into that. So you might assume that this h will go to this height and this l will go to this limit, which looks okay as if now. But if you look at the body of the expression which I'm generating, it says that h dot append, and it's a problem here because I'm expecting an integer and I'm calling h dot append, and h dot append looks that it is of type string builder, and that's the reason this will fail at compilation, because I was expecting, or lambda was expecting int, and you are passing string builder into that. So option to that is correct option to that is compilation error at line number 7, option C. Question number 8. Which of the following methods comprise? Choose all that apply. One of the important thing that you need to remember is a return statement followed by nothing is basically void. So I have public void method A, and this looks bit weird to beginner, but this is correct way to return a void. So A is correct because I'm expecting a void. B is incorrect because null is not returning a void. You're returning null, that means you're not returning a void. So B is wrong. C is correct because I'm not returning anything. D is int and I'm returning 9, which is okay. So correct options as if now are question answer A, C, and D. Then my option E says that it is going to return me int, but it is returning 9.0, which is incorrect because data type mismatch. Then this is returning int. I'm not returning anything, which is void, again data type mismatch. I'm returning int, but the return statement says null, again data type mismatch. So answer to this is A, C, and D. Question number 9. Which are the valid lambda expressions for below interface? So I have interface test and which contains public void print. Uh, Again, you need to remember a couple of things here. Returning nothing means returning a void. If in lambda you have a set of curly brackets present, then you are saying that there is a body which contains n number of things, and then you should return a single value if required. So there must be a return statement if you expect a return. So there must be a return statement. If no argument is there over here, let's say, uh, then it should be a blank, which is something like this. So if your method contains no argument, then your lambda should contain a blank brackets. And if you do not want to issue blank brackets, then you can write a variable name which is followed by lambda operator, which looks something like this. So remembering this and understanding this, we are going to solve this question. So uh, option number A looks okay, but then I'm not putting up a bracket here, because of which this is incorrect, because you should have at least a variable here. Option number B says that I'm going to declare a void, which is incorrect because then it looks a data type. Option number C is having a bracket and I don't have any argument matching to that, which is perfect. So this is no argument here. Again, there is no argument here. It's a single statement. So even it is matching with my requirement. Option number D is a blank bracket, which is blank argument matching to this. And then it contains a set of curly braces. And as it is having set of curly braces as per rules, it should have a return statement. So this return statement will make sure that you are returning void, because of which D is also correct. So as if now C and D is correct. Option E again says that you are putting up a void which is assuming that it's a kind of a data type, though void is not a data type, but it will fail when you try to write something like this. So option to this will be C and D. Question number 10. Which is a new method introduced in Java 8 to iterate over a collection? So for string I, string list is not a new method, it is a normal enhanced for loop. There is nothing like for each loop. You may get confused with this, though we have studied in chapter 2, maybe when we talked about loops and all these things. But for each is a concept, and implementation of this is actually enhanced for loop. So there is nothing called as for each loop as if like this in a looping statement. Though the for each loop is present in Java 8 to iterate over a collection like this. So we are having string list, which is a collection, let's say, dot for each, which will able to give you the facility to iterate with this string list collection. Option number D, list dot for, is not available, so answer to this is your option C, which is C. So that's it for another session on inheritance, kind of inheritance, where we talked about methods, encapsulation, how to tackle with the return types, lambdas, lot many steps. So see you soon in the next mock, where we are going to discuss the few more things related with IZO 808. By the way, you can visit us on our Facebook page also, where we have a lot many videos, questions, and Facebook page name is www.facebook.com Java International Certification. Thank you so much.